in 1789. Very soon, a few years later, they made a group of communists under the leadership of a man named Babeuf, the attempt to bring about a communist arrangement of French political affairs. They were defeated. But they were represented in all essays, theories, books dealing with the modern conditions and especially with the history of the last 200 years. They were represented as having been more radical than the rest of the French Revolution. That means people said they were in the same direction but going farther. They were considered as more to the left. The idea was the idea which dominated and still dominates the language of politics, calls people who are in favor of freedom people of the left. And these communists were considered in all the whole literature that you have for these events as people being more to the left. And the communists and the socialists described themselves as being in direction in which the French Revolution leaders went, but more to the left. This distinction between left and right was just a distinction in the parliaments. I think that the people who were against the majority were seated on the left and were called the left. We have retained this misleading terminology. That means we assume that people who are in favor of communism are farther in the same direction in which the supporters of freedom are going. We have therefore an entirely misleading orientation of the political man. We consider people who are in favor of a complete suppression of every kind of freedom as people being more in favor of freedom than the people who are in favor of a constitutional government. And it results in it cannot be carried out to its ultimate consequences. Because it brings immediately about a problem that considers the complete suppression of every individual freedom as the most radical point of freedom policy. And this becomes visible in the description of the parties and the ideas that one calls fascism. Fascism is called the opposite of what? Of a system of freedom, of course. But communism is the same. Communism too wants or plans to abolish every freedom of the individual and to put the head as an absolute ruler of everything. We have therefore, if one asks what is the difference between fascism and communism, they say, of course, it's the absolute opposite. It's not the absolute opposite, it's only other people. It is what is the difference? What is the difference between the Chase Bank and another bank? Both are banks, but with other people. We have therefore absolutely misleading political orientation.